Shalom. All praise to Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. Double honor to the apostles J and Masters. I'm Noah Allah coming at you with the video. And this video I'm be focusing on the book of Romans, chapter 13, verse 11. Alright? But I'm gonna be focusing on primarily when it says high time. We gotta find out what that means, because we read the scripture, it says high time. But what does that actually mean? So I'm gonna read the scripture, break it down. Lord willing, we're going to read the scripture, break it down, go into the Greek, and then go into some history on that particular scripture to get further on that phrase, high time, to get further understanding on it. Okay, so this is the book of Romans, chapter 13, verse 11. And that, knowing the time, that now it is high time to awake out of sleep. For now is our salvation nearer than when we believed. So it says, knowing the time, that now it is high time to wake out of sleep. For now is our salvation nearer than we believed. So our salvation is nearer than when we believed. Okay? Now the Apostle Paul is saying this 2,000 years ago. So 2,000 years ago he was saying our salvation is nearer than when we believed. So imagine how much closer we are to our salvation today, which is 2,000 years later, or 2,000 years after, in other words. The Apostle Paul made the statement. But he says, in that knowing the time, that it is now high time to wake out of sleep. What does that mean, high time?
Strong's G 5610, Hora.
Says a certain definite time or season fixed by natural law and returning with the revolving year of the seasons of the year, spring, summer, autumn, winter, the daytime bounded by the rising and setting of the sun, a day, a 12th part of the day, time, an hour, the 12 hours of the day are reckoned from the rising to the setting of the sun, any definite time, point of time, moment. Okay? Hora. See? That's the hora or hour. See that? Literally or figuratively, day, hour, instant, season, short, eventide, high time. So high time goes back to the Greek word hora, or an hour, a particular time period. Like if I say this is your final hour, it don't literally mean it's your last 60 seconds. This is your final moments. Okay? It means it's your final moment. If I say this is the hour of judgment, it doesn't literally mean it's going to be judged. It don't literally mean you're going to be judged for a 60-minute period. Okay, so an hour, so it's just representing a dispensation of time, or a certain point in time. That's why it says a certain definite time or season fixed by natural law and returning with the revolving year. So remember that, revolving year, seasons of the year, spring, summer, autumn, winter, remember that. Or any definite time, point in time, moment, as you see right there in the Roman numeral 4. Let's go back. Okay, so it says, and that knowing the time, that it is now high time to wake out of sleep, or it is now a definite time to wake out of sleep, or it is now a fixed time to wake out of sleep, or instant, now it's time to wake out of sleep. But let's get into some further history of this word high time. First, we're gonna go here to Merriam-Webster dictionary. It says since 1828. It says it's high time. First of all, go something real quick. Let's see if I can highlight that word idiom. Let's see what that word idiom means. Idiom. A group of words established by usage as having a meaning not deducible from those of the individual words. Or it says a characteristic mode of expression in musical art. So it says, Wikipedia says idiom is a phrase. An idiom is a phrase or an expression that has a figurative or sometimes literal meaning, categorized as formulaic language. An idiom's figurative meaning is different from the literal meaning. There are thousands of idioms occurring frequently in all languages. Like, let's say, here's what's right here. Here's an example. A piece of cake, very easy. Easy as pie, very easy. Give a candy to a baby, very easy, especially when you do something wrong. Okay? all those other words. All right. Here's another one. Fly on the wall, to be an unnoticed observer. Ants in your pants, restlessness. Bell the cat, take on a difficult or impossible task. Early bird, someone who wakes up early. Get someone's goat, to irritate someone deeply. Go to the dog, to become disordered, to decay. Beyond the pale, to morally or socially to too morally or socially extreme to accept. Like beyond the pale horse. Check that out. But that's just to give you some examples. But let's go back. Another idiom would be like one bad apple spoils the whole bunch. One person doing something wrong could mess it up for everybody. So it says it's high time, idiom, back this is Merriam-Webster.com. It says definition of it's high time. Informal. Used to say it is time to do something. See what that means by informal real quick. Informal. Having a relaxed, friendly, or unofficial style made on nature. Okay. Or denoting a style of writing or conversational speech characterized by simple grammatical structures, familiar vocabulary, and use of idioms. Let's go back. Definition of it's high time. Used to say it is time to do something that should have been done a long time ago. So that's one thing high time can mean. Used to say that it's time to do something that should have been done a long time ago. So it's high time to wake out of sleep. So it's time to do something that should have been done a long time ago. What does it mean it's time to do something? To wake up out of sleep. And that should have been done a long time ago. So when you say it's high time, you're saying it's time to do something that should have been done long ago. Yo, come on, man. It's high time you got a job. Yo, come on, man. It's high time you went to the supermarket. In other words, it's high time you did something that you should have done long ago. So it's high time to wake out of sleep, meaning it's high time for you to wake out of sleep. It's high time for you to do something that you should have done long ago, which was what? Wake up out of sleep, out of your slumber, out of your spiritual slumber. So when it says it's high time to wake out of sleep, what that's talking about is what? It's high time for our people to wake up out of a spiritual sleep. Meaning being spiritually dead and not understanding the truth of who they are according to the words of the scripture, which the word of the Bible are what? Spirit. Isn't that written in the Bible? These words that I speak unto you, they are spirit and they are life. What's that? John chapter 6, verse 63. Is the spirit that quickeneth? The words that speak unto you, they are spirit and they are life. Let's get another website, another definition. As a matter of fact, let me come back here and read this again. Romans 13:11. And that knowing the time that it is now high time to wake out of sleep. So it is now time for you to high time to wake out of sleep, and it is not time for you to do something that should have been done long ago, which is wake up out of sleep, out of your slumber. Look at the word sleep. Hypnos. See that? Hypnos.
Strong's G 5258. Hoopnos.
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 Hoopnos. Sleep. Spiritual torpor. Sleep. Okay? Look at the word torpor. Torpor means torpor is a state of decreased psychological activity in an animal, usually by a reduced body temperature and metabolic rate. Okay? See? It's Merriam-Webster. Torpor, a state of mental or motor inactivity with partial or total insensibility. Apathy, dullness. Okay? So that's what it means. Or it means to be lethargic, like to be lazy. As you saw on Google, when you look back, when you rewind the video, you look at the Google, you'll see the word lethargic. The word lethargic should have been there. But you'll see it on that website I was just on too if you read the page. Okay? Let's go right here. It's never used of death. In 5 places in the New Testament, it is used of physical sleep. In Romans 13:11, metaphorically of a slumbering state of soul. See, a slumbering state of your spirit, i.e. of spiritual conformity to the world, out of which believers are warned to awake. So you're in spiritual conformity to the world, meaning you conform to this world. You are in agreement to this world, spiritually, out of which believers are warned to awake. So we got to wake out of that. We got to wake out of being spiritually conformed to this world, which we're not spiritually conformed to this world. The masses of people are spiritually conformed to this world. So they're in a dead state. They're sleeping. They're like they're dead. You know, they're spiritually dead or they're spiritually sleeping. Okay? They need to wake up. And that's written. That's talking about the Israelites, the elect of the nation Israel, so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, based upon your father's line. Let me go back. Get ready to wrap this video up soon. think I clicked on that already. It's the word awake.
Strong's G 1453. Egairo. Egairo.
Egairo. To arouse, cause to rise, to arouse from sleep, to awake. See? Go here. It says raising, rising. And right here, what does it say? Probably akin to the base of, and it gives you another word. They're not gonna click on it. In fact, I might as well just click on it since I've seen it. Agora. Agora. So it says probably akin to that word, similar to that word. And it says through the idea of collecting one's faculties. So okay. So we already broke that down. We know what this means. So let's go to some more definitions. This is from theidioms.com. High time, it's high time. Meaning, synonyms, to refer to something that is already overdue, but must be started immediately. Remember said, when you look it up on Blooder, said definite time or fixed time. The appropriate or right time to do something, without delay or very shortly. A long-awaited occasion, a suitable point in time, or past the appropriate time. And to give you some examples. After months of being unemployed, it's high time Paul starts a business of his own rather than keep waiting for pay or unemployment. See that? See how I just mentioned Paul there? Not saying that that's talking about the Apostle Paul, but I'm just saying, because the Apostle Paul had just, he had wrote that. It says the phrase originated in the 13th century, and it refers to the warmest time in the day. Since people of that era were mostly farmers, this time marked the turning point in the day. Remember, it's at the time of the revolving year. Summer, and winter, autumn, spring. Remember that? Since people of that in the blue letter, since people of that era were mostly farmers, this time marked the turning point in the day, but you must have either gotten so much work done on the land or you begin doing so immediately. That's why it says high time. It's high time we gotta sleep. It's high time. With time, the phrase got to be used to refer to a time when any activity has to be started, given that the best time is past. So it says, since people in that era were mostly farmers, this time marked the turning point in the day when you must have either gotten so much work done on the land or you begin doing so immediately. So high time goes back to that point in time, a point in time when in 13th century where most people were farmers. And high time referenced the turning of the day, the point in time in the day where you should have gotten a certain amount of work done or you should begin doing so immediately. Okay? It represented the warmest time of the day in the 13th century, and people of that era were mostly farmers. So it marked the turning point, which you should have done, which by this point in time in the day, you should have either done so much work, or you should begin doing so immediately. So it's high time you wake out of sleep, meaning it's high time that you begin waking up immediately. Let's see if I got another definition here. This last one, Collins Dictionary. It's high time to be. It is high time to be high time, or to be high time. Phrase: if you see that it is high time that something happened or was done, you are saying in an emphatic way that it should happen or be done now, and really should have been happened or been done sooner. So okay, but we know Israel's only gonna wake up in the Lord's time. Okay, we know that's only gonna happen in the Lord's time. But we get the point. It says it should have happened or be done now. Okay, you are saying in an emphatic way or in a forcibly or clear way that it should happen or be done now. Meaning you should be woken up. You should have already been woken up, or you should wake up now. In other words, it should occur. Okay, at this particular point in time. Okay, and really should have been happened or been done sooner, but people are gonna wake up when the Most High telling them to wake up. But we're in that time where it's high time that we gotta slumber. Okay, so I'm gonna go back to the last definition real quick. But this is the best definition. The idioms.com. The phrase is a high time. It says to refer to something that is already overdue but must be started immediately. And this whole up here is good. The appropriate or right time to do something without delay or very shortly. A long-awaited occasion, a suitable point in time, or past the appropriate time. And it says the origin. This phrase originated in the 13th century and it refers to the warmest time of the day. Since people of that era were mostly farmers, this time marked the turning point in the day when you must have either gotten so much work done on the land or you begin doing so immediately. With time, the phrase got to be used to refer to a time when activity had to be started given that the best time is past. What does that say, turning point? Turning point. Okay, so we got the point. Turning point. This is decent. This is good here. But we got the point. Okay. The point after which things become better, the time of significant change in situation, the turn of time. We get the gist of it. So with that, we'll close. I hope brothers learned something. And I'm going to say shalom.